the ACA's premium tax subsidy will be based on folks' income estimates, and these estimates will often use the prior year's tax returns. Taxpayers will eventually have to reconcile the premium subsidies they received with the amount that they were eligible to receive based on their actual income. In many cases, whether it's due to a salary increase, move across state lines, or other change in situation, they could find themselves owing thousands of dollars back to the IRS. I asked Mr. Koskinen if he believes that taxpayers fully understand the risk that comes with failure to report a life change to the exchange and how they will handle the reconciliation process. He responded that the IRS is concerned that taxpayers need to understand the risk, and they are beginning to publicize this so that taxpayers have various modes of outreach, including their website, and that he hopes that taxpayer will notify the exchange so that they will not be surprised. Mr. Ellis and Mr. Skarlotas, would you be willing to answer a few questions for me? Do you think that taxpayers are at all aware of their obligation to notify the exchange with their good news of getting a raise or marriage throughout the year? And do you believe that the taxpayers understand the risk of failing to do so, Mr. Ellis?
No, because if there's one constant in the tax preparation industry, it's that people forget about the IRS as quickly as they can once they file their tax return, and they don't think about it again until the next January.
Mr. Skarlotas?
I don't think taxpayers are aware. I think that's what tax preparers should be doing with them. They should be educating them as much as they can.
Okay, thank you. Do you too believe the IRS's efforts to publicize this information either through a YouTube account or their website will make taxpayers understand their obligation?
That requires taxpayers to have the interest to go to irs.gov or to be recipients of the information in some other way that they would actually see it. Based on my experience with real-world people that actually file their taxes, I think that's incredibly unlikely.
I agree. I think it's unlikely. I think the burden, again, should be on the tax return preparers to educate the taxpayers.
Okay. And as someone who's prepared tax returns and has had to deliver bad news to taxpayers regarding refunds, are you concerned that tax preparers will be the real front line of taxpayer education at a time when it is too late?
There's a joke inside the tax preparer world that it's always the tax preparer's fault when you're in a meeting with a client, and I think that's probably going to be exacerbated here. I think the tax preparers themselves are going to be very unprepared for this. They're going to be talking to people who make modest amounts of income by definition. The 400% of federal poverty line is not a very high level of income. These are not people that have a lot of liquidity to be able to deal with surprises. And so, yes, I think it'll be very tense, those conversations between preparers and clients.
I agree. The tax code is very complex. The tax return preparers are the gatekeepers to the system, and it will be difficult for them to educate taxpayers in this way. But it's really the only way it can be done.
Thank you. I would yield back.